Hi, my name is Teresa Valentino, and this is my first ever YouTube video, so thank you for watching. Um, my channel is called Surviving with Savvy, and this video is called the 4-Minute Life Elevator. I am making this channel and this video because I am a survivor of child sex trafficking, and I've had to do my mental health pretty much DIY without the support of my family or community. Which I'm not asking you to feel sorry for me, quite the contrary. Like, I mentioned that because it means that I have built my mental health, my beautiful, happy, creative life that I have now, excuse me, I've built that one pebble at a time. And no matter what they take from me, I'm gonna sit here and sip my tea. So I feel like that's good enough to share. So here we are. That's who I am and why I've done this channel. I've come up with some pretty good mental health DIY in my days, and I'm really sorry about my throat here. And it's good enough to share. So the point of this particular exercise, you don't have to be as traumatized as I was to benefit from this. See, that's the thing I would love to see happen, is people who really have pretty okay lives but are not real happy in them, are not real feeling creative or fulfilled, just not having the life that they want. I'd love to see people not that bad off really applying these techniques, and their lives would take off like rockets for sure. Because this is how you create the life that you want out of nothing, just from scratch, you know? So this particular process was a real turning point for me when I learned to put these two things together. It was a turning point for me because instead of being constantly overwhelmed by the 11 million problems that I had no idea how to solve, I just started addressing my misery itself, like the fact that I was always overwhelmed and miserable. I just decided that is my only one and only problem that I'm going to address, right? Like, it was at that level of coping and dysfunction for me. So hopefully your stuff doesn't ever get that out of control. It doesn't have to, okay? I don't want it to. I'm here to provide you with every opportunity to craft a life that will really satisfy you for yourself. And I would support you 100% in doing that as I can. So that's the thing. When I just started looking at it, instead of like trying to come up with strategies and solutions to get out of all this negative stuff that I was embroiled in from birth, the key to my success was keeping it super simple, focusing on just keeping myself alive, okay? And that came down to a two-pronged thing. There's a mindfulness portion, which begins with gratitude and spirals out from there. And if that sounds horrible to you, I apologize. I hated it too. First time that therapist lady, I ended up having to fire her anyway. She was a goof, but this wasn't why. But she said to me, "Oh, well, have you ever tried feeling grateful?" I almost asked her if she'd ever tried being punched in the mouth. You know, I wasn't getting there from here. So stick with me. I'm going to circle back to that. If you're having difficulty with the gratitude portion of it, I can tell you how to walk that back if you're still in anger management mode, or if you're as depressed as I was. God help you. I hope that you aren't. So that I'll come back to, but I want to describe the actual breathing technique, because that's a nuts and bolts thing you can definitely just practice and put into effect right now. I'm calling it the 4-Minute Life Elevator because I do an advanced version of it that takes me 4 minutes, but the form that I'm going to teach you only takes 2 minutes. So I've kind of tricked you into giving yourself an extra 2 minutes of luxury to do a gratitude practice or any other thing that'll make you feel happy and uplifted in the moment. So, but first, what I would really like to do, before I even describe the how to do the packing breath, what I'd like to say is, aside from the gratitude and the breath control, there's actually a third pillar to my success. I immediately, once I realized how bad my mental health crisis was, I immediately sought a qualified, competent therapist. And I've been in therapy for almost 40 years now. Well, no, I was 20, so 20, almost 30 years now. But I would not have made it without therapy, and it pains me when I hear people say that, oh, I went a few times and it doesn't help me, or I do my own or whatever. Yeah, I do my own too, but let me tell you, big part of being a survivor is feeling like you have to do everything yourself and that people aren't there to help you. Been there, done that, okay? My mom used to deprive me of food and then complain about how expensive I was, okay? So, I really am feeling you if you are having a hard time just getting your basic footing in any kind of a mental health or gratitude practice. So stick with it, and I'm going to teach you the breathing part first, and that might be what you need to get you to where you can start on the mindfulness parts of it, okay? So, let me demonstrate this thing I'm calling a packing breath. That is going to be your basic fundamental breath, and this is your go-to bread and butter move anytime you're feeling overwhelmed or you'd like to empower yourself in any situation. If you can train yourself to have this thought first, I don't know what to think, do, or say right now. I don't know how to respond. I just don't know what to do. I am overwhelmed in some way. Anytime you feel that way for any reason, train yourself to grab a packing breath, okay? So straighten up your back, and you're gonna do your packing breath like this. Come up to the top, take another sip in when you get up to the top rather than breathing out, just to show yourself what's happening on the inside of your lungs and fill that space out nicely and fully. It's not how we normally breathe, right? You're training yourself a whole new thing. And what you're gonna feel is the insides of your lungs actually stretching and releasing and relaxing, and it feels great, just like it does when you stretch your legs or your back or any other part of your body. But even better, because of the job that your lungs do, that fresh oxygen just benefits and enhances every cell of the body, clears your mind, helps you in every imaginable way. So deep breathing is fundamental cornerstone, and packing breath is the first step in that, okay? So make it so that you can expand your rib cage nicely, and then when you get to the top of your breath, you're just gonna fill it up and just see what that looks like for you. I'm gonna show you how it looks, okay? That's normally where I'd stop. Okay, I just kind of sipped in little tiny bits of air. I'm not trying to see if there's a balloon that I can pop in there. You know, I'm not trying to punish myself or go crazy here. And what I'm trying to do is give my lungs a little bit of extra, perfectly free, delicious, delightful, healing oxygen, which you can take extra anytime you want. It's a second helping. You don't have to even hit the Diet Coke buzzer, nothing. They will just, nobody has to bring it to you. You can just breathe it all in. You can just breathe. So that's your packing breath, and that's the first thing that I would reach for anytime I was overwhelmed. If I'm starting to have a flashback, I wasn't able to buy groceries or do anything, and I still had to support myself and earn a living every day, and it was a nightmare. So this got me through some rough times. Boy, I must have sounded like a dog when I said that. Rough. So fight, flight, freeze. Okay, so now that I've covered the basics of that, I'm gonna get back to the gratitude part of this. Oh no, actually, let me show you the rest of the breathing technique. So now that we've learned how to do the packing breath, the 4-minute elevator itself is going to be the square breathing. So when you can do a packing breath, then you're just gonna count for 4, practice one packing breath so that you get a feel for how long of a time it takes you to breathe all the way that much in. And you don't have to stop at the top anymore. That's just to show you the technique of what's happening. Because I just do it like this now, and I'll show you in 1 second here. But you can just count 1, 2, 3, 4 in, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and just practice blowing it all out. You know what I mean? It feels really good once you get used to doing this in your own rhythm. Once you learn your own pace, it feels amazing. So I'm gonna breathe in for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold again for 4. And I'm gonna do that 4 times, and that's 1 round of square breathing, okay? So here's how it looks. I like to use a little mudra, so you can do that. Anything that works for you is great. Okay, so like this. In for 4. I'm actually gonna show you by counting this way so you don't think I'm just sitting here wasting 2 minutes, okay? Easy breezy, right? So, that is your basic square breathing technique. I do that anytime I'm freaking out. Like the last time I did that, for some crazy, don't ask what I was thinking. I was off my rocker, but I decided to go and visit a fundamentalist Baptist church in North Carolina. And I walked in there, and the first thing that they showed on the monitor screen was the guy talking about how Catholics are going to hell. And I was like, oh, I guess I came on the wrong day. But I was really looking for common ground. I really did want to learn their theology, and I did. I did actually learn some things, and it was nice. People were very kind to me personally. But while I was sitting there listening to that sermon, holy mackerel, they said a bunch of things that freaked me out. And I didn't want to just get up and bolt and be like, oh, this is so weird. Even though I was super uncomfortable, I did want to stay there and connect with the people as much as I could, and it worked. And so this is what I did. I sat there and I just did square breathing. And if you're in a situation like that, square breathing your way through it, a lot of the times you'll have like tears rolling down your face or whatever, but you know what? The only way out is through. Treat yourself to the life that's on the other side of that miserable, unhappy, I don't know what to do feeling. And that's what this 4-minute elevator is all about. That's why I put this up here for you, because I do know this. I've done it. I used my life elevator to crawl up out of my grave after my near-death experience that I had. As a child, one of my sexual assaults was so brutal that I actually died from it. And I made the whole decision to come back to my life. So, speaking of this gratitude process, if you're having trouble feeling the gratitude, like I said, I couldn't even listen to the words that were coming out of that woman's mouth, because all I could just imagine was my fist just going pow, 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 pow. It just it made me nuts. And the song Don't Worry, Be Happy was a big hit on the radio, and that made me just want to break stuff. That's one of the tips that I have in the blog, in fact, is create a safe way to break stuff when you get in that kind of a mood. So good for you. You know, I would never have thought. I was too self-controlled and too repressed and too afraid of saying anything to ever break anything. So that was liberating for me. Give yourself a chance to experience the truth of who you are on the inside, and you will not regret it. So with the gratitude situation, even though I made the decision to come back to my life, like at the time when I had the near death and they were explaining to me like it's gonna hurt really bad for a very long time. Are you sure you want to go back? You don't have to. And it seemed like a dumb question to me. You know, hi there, I'm 7 years old. Of course I want to be alive. Is that a stupid question? I have all kinds of stuff to do. I have a cat. You know what I mean? Like, so, and then of course, as soon as I got back to my body, oh no, it was a really dumb decision. If somebody does something bad enough to you that makes your body die, do yourself a favor and stay dead. That's all I can tell you. It was miserable, but you know, if I can use it to climb out of my grave, you can use it to elevate yourself to something much better. It's not that hard to do. Where there's life, there's hope, right? So here's what I'm saying about the gratitude process. That's how difficult it was for me. I had to start with actually buying things with the specific purpose of smashing them with a hammer in a safe way so that I could even get to the place to even think about a conversation about gratitude. I was not there. I was not glad to be alive. And at the time, the thing that I thought was the stumbling block was the word gratitude itself. The word gratitude itself to me meant I was grateful to someone. And this was before I had identified any sense of the sacred in my own life, which is really what all of this comes down to. Holding yourself and your own life sacred. The 4-minute life elevator, getting used to the idea of the square breathing and the packing breaths. Even if you don't have time to do square breathing, you can always do a packing breath anywhere, anytime. And each time you do that, you're sending your own brain a little message. Hey, guess who's in charge of my life right now? Hey, this girl. So that's what it's all about. And that may seem like a small or foolish little gesture, but let me tell you, it's drops in the ocean, and it does add up, because the ocean is only made out of drops at the end of the day. So it's possible that you may be watching this video from a ditch out behind the public library where you are just barely able to reach your phone to get the Wi-Fi signal. And so you're watching this video as you lay dying in the rain. But if that's happening, I'm very sorry. I regret that, and I thank you for honoring me with your last moments. But I would think it would be better for you to turn this video off and follow another one of my 9 tips, which would be find you a sound bath that you could do. Like I would try my life elevator meditation would be okay, but I would go for some chanting or hymns or something, just if it was me. Excuse me. But so if you're not dying in a ditch behind the public library, just lucky to be able to reach the Wi-Fi signal to watch up some YouTube, then, you know, you have a lot of opportunities to change things, to create something you want. I'm here to tell you, there is no good life without somebody creating a good life, okay? Nobody set me out to have a good life. That was never on the menu for me. The only thing that my parents put on the menu for me was a crab sandwich. So I'm not just blowing smoke here. I'm not telling you things that I read in a blog somewhere or that I learned in a college class. This is why I'm alive to talk now, because I've mastered these things. When they first told me about the breathing, I couldn't imagine that would be worthwhile, honestly. And the only reason I started doing it is because I was so panicked and freaked out that I just had no idea what to do so often, that in those moments I would just reach for anything I could think of, and that was something they had instilled. They had planted that little seed in my head, and that's, again, why you should definitely get into therapy. They actually know a few things. So, but yeah, I mean, you don't have to be grateful to anyone. You just have to be glad you're alive. But there will be no creating a good life for you without an owner who's invested in making it good, is basically what it comes down to. And I'm sorry to use yet another cliche, but living well is the best revenge. You know what I mean? The people who abused me, I'm sure a lot of them are dead, but like my family, they're just like vampires. They're like miserable weirdos that I will never have to deal with again. You know, yay, I elevated my life. It was painful, but I didn't have to let go of anybody who was kind to me, you know? I didn't have to let go of anybody who respected me or treated me as if I were important. And so I'm here to tell you it's worth it. It's worth your gratitude. I'm grateful to you for watching my video. The gratitude, you know, the gratitude really just enables or facilitates the other 8 points. So you can think of gratitude as the basic willingness to have something good, and then you can allow something good. Once you've decided to allow for it, then you can just let it happen. If you've decided that, you know, a lot of the time it can be hard for survivors or anybody to feel worthy of the happiness that we would like to have, especially if you're surrounded by toxic people and you've been indulging in your own negativity in ways that you may have gotten out of hand with. It can be hard, but there's a lot of resources for you. This is a really good time to take control of things and to show up as part of our healthy, happy, accepting world. So you don't have to be grateful to anyone. You can just be glad that you have a life to live, and that will be your own sense of the sacred. You don't have to believe in God. You don't have to be grateful to anyone. You can just be grateful to yourself that you've taken this time to create something worthwhile for yourself. And that makes the world a better place. You know what I mean? Every time one of us chooses to live happier, to live healthier, to see ourselves through our own eyes and not through the eyes of our abusers, that's magical. I think that might be the ultimate key to gratitude. I had a very difficult time with gratitude when I still saw myself through the eyes of my abusers. So learning to see myself through my own eyes, hey now, I'm not suicidal anymore. I'm absolutely not going to kill myself because I'm not letting the terrorists win, basically. You know, they don't have to be sorry for me to forgive them. I can forgive them just because they're miserable and I don't have to deal with them anymore. I'm you know, see, you wouldn't want to be and you can do that. If I can do it, you can do it. So that's my meditation, and I'm sorry this video has gotten up to 19 minutes, but I had a lot to say. There's even more on the blog, again, at teresavalentino.com. This is a brand new channel, but I really am here for my other survivors and my people who want to live better lives. So if you have any particular concerns, the things that you're having difficulty with, PTSD, that sort of thing, by all means, let me know. You can either contact me on my blog at teresavalentino.com or in the comment section below. If there's any particular techniques or things that you'd like me to discuss more, please let me know, because I take a lot of my survival superpowers for granted at this point. I've worked on it for so long, and these things have become so automatic for me that I forget how it was when I didn't know and when I couldn't do this kind of stuff, and it was just brutal. And there was no YouTube, so God bless us all, you know. So yeah, I also, oh, quick before I go, I have a book coming out on November the 3rd. It'll be out on Kindle. It's called Dear Jimmy, What a Child Trafficking Survivor Wishes You Knew. So you can get an advanced free copy of that until, I want to say, October 15th. On the blog, you can sign up for that and get your advanced copy free. After that, it'll be in pre-release, and then you'll have to pay for a copy on Amazon. So other than that, please, by all means, comment, subscribe, like, let me know what I can do to support you in your healing process. Thank you.